Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the last webinar of the year, and hopefully the best, because the last is the best always. So today's webinar is from Quintica, and it's titled Automate and Optimize IT Service Operations, and presented by Robert Lee from Quintica. It's scheduled for 1 hour, maybe more or less, and you can raise your questions in the chat area, the comments area in YouTube as we go, and we'll take your questions at the end. So now, Robert, please start.
Yeah, thank you, Rania, for this opportunity, and hello and welcome to my guests in the Middle East, Europe and Asia Pacific and Africa, and my fellow Quinticans listening in who should be working. So I'll be talking about why automate and optimize IT service operations, as well as the challenges that we face, and the problems obviously faced by the customers and the outcomes to automating and optimization of IT service operations. And also, as it's my first and last podcast of the year, I will be mentioning a few film titles in this presentation. So see if you can point them out in the chat at the end. This is based on a bet that I had with my marketing manager to see how many film titles I can slip in. Now, before I start the presentation, I get to blow my own trumpet and talk about me. So I've been using ServiceNow since 2013. It's my favorite platform ever. I've been a product owner of various ITSM tools before that. And, as part of my wildly global experience, I've worked for many organizations and also led one of the major digital transformations across Europe and Asia Pacific. I'll be touching on that as well shortly. But I wonder if anyone out there who can remembers it's not an ITSM tool. It was one of the first tools that I remember using called Netman back in the 80s. This was an IBM mainframe tool, and it only had change management and problem management, right? So there were no incidents, there were no requests, everything was a problem, okay? And then I worked on a particular project that consisted of at least 250 resources to build the first CMDB using that application, Netman, where we had a total of around 67,000 CIs, and it took about 6 months to build. And then sort of fast forward 15 years, I was using the first ITSM suite of tools from a certain company. And, that's where I'm going to start off, right? So one of the stories I want to talk about is the large global automation, how it happened, okay? And this was all based on recommendations from the problem review that occurred. So if you picture this, picture a map of the world, and on the left-hand side, you've got the Americas, north and south. You've got the Atlantic Ocean in the middle. You've got Europe and Africa down there, and a bit of the Middle East. And across the Atlantic, there are two cables, right? Telephone cables. One's going east, one's going west. So now that you've got that picture, I was coming out of a meeting with some engineers, and I noticed one of the doors that should have been locked was open. And I pushed it open, and there was a guy in there with a big manual open on his lap, special phone. And I asked him, what was he doing? Bear in mind that I'd only been at this company 3 days. And he said, well, because we were a startup company, and that was about 2 years ago. He said, we've been growing aggressively, and unfortunately, we didn't label any of the cables. All right, so this was a telecoms company, and this transport room is just a room full of cables, okay? So none of them had any labels on. So what they were trying to do was to pull out cables one by one to see what the impact was, to see if the engineering help desk would receive any calls from, globally. So they continued to pull out cables, wait 1 hour, and then see if they actually got a phone call. So suffice to say, nothing happened. Everything was good. So he continued to pull out another cable, So what happened was, unbeknown to the gentleman, he actually pulled out a cable that connected the east cable that went from Europe to the US. Okay, and what that meant was anyone calling from Europe couldn't. And an hour later, he pulled out the other cable, unbeknown to him, which was the West Link. So anyone from North or South of America couldn't contact anyone in Europe. So you can imagine the chaos at this company. My third day, and the outcome of that was, of course, communication. We need a tool. So again, that's just one outcome from this massive outage that occurred, which obviously cost us a lot of customers. And so that's why I'll touch on this a bit later, but we're going to go on to why automate and optimize IT service operations. Okay, so on the slide here, what I'm going to talk about is, when tools build up in silos, okay, there's no way to get a holistic view of the IT estate or automate end-to-end workflows. So when ITSM, IT Service Management, and ITOM, IT Operations Management, are separate tools and have have information spread over multiple systems, you don't have end-to-end visibility to address issues. Users are left frustrated and customer satisfaction plummets. You'll find that your customers aren't able to scale fast enough to keep up with the digital business or resolve business critical incidents fast. And they aren't also able to continuously add staff to make up for these delays. So what do we need? IT service delivery needs an accurate, up-to-date video of IT services and infrastructure, which comes from discovery and service mapping, which is an ITOM function. So IT operations, it needs to resolve high priority incidents, okay, and service outages, which means they need historical and real-time change and incident data, which comes from ITSM. The two rely on one another, and when they are separate tools, IT becomes slow, unresponsive, and productivity is low. Ultimately, they're unable to scale, okay? So often, people confuse tools and business functions, right? For example, they equate ITSM with the service desk. Similarly, ITOM capabilities such as discovery and event management are seen as tools for IT operations. However, this just isn't true. So for example, IT operations needs to resolve high priority incidents. In fact, event management and incident management are intimately connected. The same goes for changes. High quality IT operations depends on robust change processes, and change history is critical when trying to diagnose service outages, as I just mentioned earlier. Similarly, the service desk needs an accurate, up-to-date view of IT services and infrastructure. This is critical for everything from resolving user issues to managing hardware and software assets. And where does this information come from? Well, it's held in the CMDB. It ultimately comes from discovery and service mapping, which is an ITOM function. So when ITSM and ITOM are separate tools, as I said, it becomes slower and unresponsive. So think about a service outage or degradation. Event management correlates monitoring data and shows you the service impact. But what then? When is it time to act? IT operations has to raise a corresponding incident and route it to the right internal group or vendor. When there are separate systems, this causes significant delays at the worst possible time. And when it comes to fixing the outage, critical information such as alerts, service topologies, and previous incidents and changes are spread over two systems, making it even harder to restore the service. So outcomes from automating and optimizing the IT service operations. So we can see here, there's obviously huge productivity gains, and we can reduce incident response times. But before I touch into that, Forrester, as it mentions there, they did a research with various companies that were using ServiceNow, and they found that productivity gains were around 20%. So if you're not already aware, the ServiceNow stock price grew by 7% on the 9th of December, which is when I was supposed to do this podcast before. And it was due to their report, okay, based on enterprise service management. Okay, please go and check it out, okay, because one of the key quotes here, it says, ServiceNow remains the most ambitious ESM vendor in the market, seeking to further the automation, employee services and employee experience enhancements it brings to customers. ServiceNow's breadth and depth of capability is unmatched in pushing forward core platform capabilities, increasing the number of AI and ML features, and extending the new capabilities like customer success management and AI ops. And I know one of my colleagues was talking about AI, I think about a month ago. Very good one. Check it out if it's still on YouTube. So again, one of the examples of the benefits that automating and optimizing IT services and operations can bring comes from something we call AI-powered service operations. So this is where we leverage technology in a unifying way so customers are able to manage and get ahead of issues. On the user side, we deflect work from getting to service teams by leveraging AI and automating services. This was a topic that I think Pretty spoke about a few weeks ago. We can automatically reset passwords via self-service. That's a great feature. Use virtual agents to help employees check status and request common services. We can also use intelligent routing to escalate issues across service teams. And for your DevOps teams, we can automate change requests so releases are accelerated and governed correctly. And on the machine side, we can automate common operations and predict outages and problems with the help of AI. So with AI-powered service operations on the Now platform, our customers can consolidate solutions and centralize all service and operations data and workflows. So we can see here, customer one improved the time it takes to restore services by 6 times and reduced the number of incidents and alerts to the service desk. When we reduce incident noise from the machine data, customer 2 here manages 75% of incidents via the self-serve to reduce the number of requests reaching the service desk. We can deflect incidents from employees and customers with virtual agents. So customer 3 here reduces 90% of their outages through that. We can increase deployment velocity and reduce time spent on manual changes so teams can deliver innovation faster. So customer 4 is able to get the service to market faster by utilizing the DevOps improvements. So AI-powered operations is just one example of how you might get the benefits we spoke about a minute ago. So revolutionize IT service operations. So basically, we ditch the old siloed IT tools and we bust down the barriers with a single platform for IT, providing employee AI-powered self-services, where we can significantly improve decision-making and experiences that make your agents want to come into work or not. Energize service operations with the AI-powered automation to self-heal and resolve issues fast. So you want to ignite your agent productivity, okay, by deflecting the tickets, reducing call volumes with AI-powered virtual agents, and at the same time, prevent and resolve high-impact incidents with predictive AI ops. Okay, regarding the optimized service operations, we want to maximize productivity of service teams and vendors while speeding innovation, managing changes in real time with nearly instant change approvals. Okay, so let's talk about each of these steps, what they mean, and the capabilities of ServiceNow delivers that will help you, realize those benefits. So the journey for many customers starts with the end result in mind, to deliver great IT experiences to employees. That's what we want. Great experiences are not only what happens in the UI, but also it means quick responses with the ability to access service use anywhere, anytime, and on any device. Or often even in context of work when someone is using Slack or Teams, for example. So great experiences also mean that IT employees or other employees providing services are enabled to be hugely productive and able to focus on truly meaningful work, not just routine tickets, for example. So ServiceNow accomplishes the goal of helping you deliver great employee experiences in a number of ways. Okay. Some of the most common include the unified service portal, right? So that provides a single place to ask for service and support, but also for IT to easily communicate activities, outages with employees, via the banner, for example. Okay, we've got embedded experiences, which allows employees to connect with IT in collaboration tools like Slack and Teams, Zoom, and Facebook Messenger, etc. We've got the virtual agent automates common requests to provide better, anytime, anywhere access to self-service, deflect tickets from IT staff, and to reduce call volumes. Okay, so it helps the staff get on and work on other more important things. Okay, we've got Now Mobile, which gives employees fast self-help on their mobile device while on the go. So it's powered by ServiceNow's single platform, which means the same mobile solution can be used for all ServiceNow products. So it's no wonder that customer 5 here achieved 24/7 self-service with the virtual agents, and the customer 6 here was able to reduce repetitive tasks and increase IT productivity by 50%. Okay, which is fantastic. So this use case here solves the problem when service and operations teams need to know performance metrics to enable data-driven decisions. Okay, it also drives down costs while swiftly resolving issues. We can scale IT to support changing business goals and help them deliver resilient remote service experience. The applications and functions supporting this particular use case are the performance analytics, right, which provides IT analytics to improve your overall, experience. We've got the agent workspace, so that delivers one view, complete with all the information required to improve agent efficiency. Gives greater visibility into root cause and remediation actions, and ultimately results in the fastest possible resolution of incidents. Okay, regarding DevOps, the drive integration speed by publishing reusable integrations, you get the full stack turnkey power here. So this gives developers more time in their own tools to do what they do best, while automatically creating change requests for development teams so they can stay focused on coding. So we can use change management policies to automate most approvals and connect constant toolchain data in the DevOps data model. Okay, I know all the DevOps people out there, they love all that. So ITOM Health, so that uses the power of AI ops to turn the tidal wave of events into a trickle of actionable alerts. So we've got 2 customer examples here that have improved their innovation speed across IT. So customer 7 here reduced the critical incident resolution times by 60% when they deployed ServiceNow, and customer 8 improved their service performance 3 times when they switched to ServiceNow. So here is a case for the early journey customer. Okay, consolidate IT services. So this problem, the problem this group is facing in the services team has multiple service desk tools, and suffers from high costs, inefficiencies, and poor experiences. So when they have moved to ServiceNow, these customers consolidated their IT services on a single cloud platform. They increased the IT agent productivity with artificial intelligence, and lastly, we'll be able to deliver resilient service experiences that fit today's world. So there's 5 applications and functions that most customers deploy in this particular use case. ITOM visibility. Okay, so that provides visibility across the IT estate, on-premise, cloud, the TSL certificates to eliminate outages and find the root cause quickly. And configuration management, which drives the service excellence across IT, bringing service infrastructure data together in one place. Valuable tool. Incident problem management, of course, which restores services faster and enables the agents to minimize service disruptions and speed root cause resolutions on a single platform for IT. How can we forget change management? Integrate change processes across IT and reduce risks and improve governance. Very important process, that one. And of course, knowledge management. So we're there to boost the self-service, right? Promote knowledge sharing, increase employee satisfaction with fast resolutions. Also want to promote knowledge sharing by empowering those agents to create articles in the context of their work and harvest the community solutions, which provides consistent, proven resolutions for your customer and employees to boost the self-service. Okay, so the 2 examples that we have here for the Consolidate IT service user case are customer 9 was able to save 3 million in licensing and maintenance and hardware costs, and customer 10 consolidated multiple platforms to one platform. the Now platform, and improve their approval speed from days to just seconds. Okay, so in the next slides, I'm going to talk about 3 points. Okay, we're going to energize IT with AI-powered operations to self-heal and resolve issues fast. So I'm going to touch on the resolve employee incidents with AI. Okay, we're going to talk about prevent machine-generated incidents, and also speed technology innovation. Okay. So looking at the first case, this is about the high number of high-impact incidents with no way to prevent or resolve them quickly. So using ITSM, this empowers employees to resolve their own issues with AI-powered virtual agents and provides IT analytics to improve overall service experiences. ITOM, that leverages the machine learning assisted event and analytics to proactively identify issues and initiate remediation. The platform for IT brings together all the right groups and data to resolve an issue before a potential problem impacted service, and data showing the root cause of the problem, options for resolution, and all the relevant things together such that an issue can be resolved before users know about it. So the applications that are supporting this use case, again, you're going to hear some repetitive noise again, but virtual agent. Okay, so what is this? This is where employees resolve their own issues with the AI-powered virtual agents. How? Well, by giving your employees and customers an experience they love, by automating common requests. They provide self-service anytime, which can let the users get a resolution in seconds. So you don't have to wait for an available live agent. You can route issues to chatbot automatically, reducing call volumes. Predictive intelligence, improve agent and IT operations teams efficiently, using AI for greater visibility and speed incident resolutions. So we've got a couple of customer examples that how they improved their innovation speed across IT. So customer 11 there reduced their resolution times by 75% when they moved to ServiceNow. And customer 12 here was able to deflect 16% of their incidents within 2 months of launch after they switched to ServiceNow. I remember, just a little story here. I remember working for a company, a media company, and when I joined them, I remember I did a bit of a gap analysis for the first, I think, 4 days, and I think within the same month, I reduced incidents by 83% and increased requests by 205%. The reason being, the guys there didn't know the difference between what an incident was and what a request was. Right. So there's some quick wins that can be done. So here, speed, innovation, and increased agility. So what's the problem here? The high number of high-impact incidents with no way to prevent or resolve them quickly. So ITSM empowers employees to resolve their own issues with AI-powered virtual agents and provides IT analytics to improve overall service experiences. And ITOM leverages the machine learning assisted event and analytics to proactively identify issues and initiate remediation. So the platform for IT brings together all the right groups and data to resolve an issue before a potential problem or impacted service, and data showing the root cause of the problem, options for resolution, and all the relevant teams together again, that an issue can be resolved before users know about it. So the applications and functions that are supporting this user case are discovery, so which drives productivity and collaboration with out-of-the-box integrations and views across multiple tool chains. We get a holistic view of your operations footprint across on-premise data centers and the cloud, and integration hub. Major incident management, so speedier major incident identifications and resolutions. There's the operator workspace, which consolidates IT tools across services and operations to avoid distractions and find the root cause quickly. We've got ITOM AI Ops and ITOM Health, which consolidates data from your monitoring tools, intelligently normalizing, deduplicating, filtering, and correlating events to generate meaningful alerts attached to corresponding CIs in the ServiceNow CMDB. This can reduce noise by up to 99%. So event management then shows you the service impact of these alerts, which services are affected and how badly, and it also lets you know, how you can automate remedial actions. So with the recent changes to the world, we've proven how importantly digital transformations are for any organization, and whether your employees will continue to work remotely or are hoping to return to the office. Your need for building and delivering large amounts of new innovation appears to have increased for most of our customers anyway. And with that need for increased innovation velocity comes the need to speed all things relating to it in services and operations. So ServiceNow ITSM includes several capabilities built on a single data model to help speed innovation using machine learning and to automate across IT workflows. So major incident management reduces workload on your IT development resources by providing a collaborative and speedier way to resolve incidents with proven workflows and machine learning, and to give these resources the time they need to continue innovation. The change management uses metrics, a risk-based policy, engine, and best practice change workflows that help you integrate change processes across IT while reducing risk and improving governance of change. And when the change is integrated to our DevOps solution, you have to have a change solution which ensures developers can stay in their IDE, make code changes, and have those flows automatically into your appropriate change process, leveraging embedded metrics, which will keep the change risk levels where needed and provide full auditability, even if no manual change is processed. Okay. The capabilities and more have helped Customer 15, and Customer 16 increase development velocity through better integration and change process times. So, optimizing IT to drive maximum resource utilization and reduce costs. Okay, so I won't go too much into detail on this one, but obviously what we're trying to do is produce as much as possible with the lowest possible cost. That's it, making something the best it can be. So another outcome of your ITSM journey is to enhance the productivity of all services personnel, or those who deliver services to their fellow employees, starting with IT. So capabilities in ServiceNow, ITSM, are there to meet this need, And again, it's Agent Workspace, which delivers one view, complete with all the information required to improve agent efficiency, giving greater visibility into root cause and remediation actions, ultimately resulting in the fastest possible resolution of incidents. Predictive intelligence that leverages AI to deliver natural language recommendations to resolve issues. Automatically routes tickets with the degree of efficiency and accuracy not possible with human agents, and drives again to quicker resolution times without often reoccurring misdirection nightmares or increasing service agent productivity. Again, mobile agent, that's the mobile interface specifically designed for agents who provide services, but with all the capabilities needed to maximize their efficiency on the go. So being strapped to your desk is not a problem agents who use ServiceNow need to face. And lastly, the virtual agent deflects a lot of incidents at their source, allowing employees to solve their own issues and increasing productivity of your own agents. The customers have seen tremendous outcomes using ServiceNow ITSM to help their agents both scale and increase productivity, particularly with all the changes to work locations ongoing, which often drives up incident volumes. So you can see here customer 17 who used ServiceNow to reduce time and effort required to solve major incidents by 53%. And then we've got customer 18 here who recognized the 2 times agent productivity gains using virtual agents. Also, they reduced their response time for major incidents by 53%. And they also saw a 2 times improvement in their age and productivity when they moved to ServiceNow. Great achievement there. So the service optimization use cases addresses the problem when IT teams need to optimize their services for excellence. So these customers were able to get better costs with increased budget utilization, automate the services with IT workflows, and then create services that meet employees' needs and desires. The applications and functions supporting these user cases are vendor management workspace, okay, which manages and optimizes vendor services in a single workspace to track performance and automatically in real time. Then there's the performance analytics again, which provides the IT analytics to improve overall service experience. We've got the service portfolio management, where it drives service excellence with the full life cycle disability with real-time data to effectively manage the services. So we've got two customer examples here that have improved their innovation speed across IT. So we can see customer 19 is now seeing a 250K service request annually with self-service from ServiceNow. We've got also customer 20, where they reduced the hours of redundant support work by 28 hours when they switched to ServiceNow. So this service optimization use cases addresses the problem when IT teams need to optimize their services for excellence. The customers can get better costs with increased budget utilization. They can automate services with IT workflows and create services that meet employees' needs and desires. The applications and functions supporting this case is the workforce optimization, right? This is where manage teams effectively with real-time visibility and optimize scheduling to maximize output. We've got process optimization, where we gain greater visibility on processes and gather insights on process flows and drive swift improvements, okay? Continual improvement management, where we manage improvements from ideation through delivery by aligning people, processes, and data. And then we've got two examples where the customers have improved the revamped team and processes from a single source, where customer 21 was running multiple legacy IT service management systems and consolidated them into one platform. We'll touch on that later, the Now platform, and improved their overall speeds from days to seconds. So what was their challenges? Okay, so faced with disparate processes and disconnected systems and high costs, tell me if that all seems familiar. Customer 21 needed to transform how it delivered IT services. As part of a global IT transformation program, the customer had a 3-year vision to modernize IT service management and consumerize the employee experience. But critically, this vision extends beyond IT to transform every business line on a global basis. Customer 21 had an unnecessary, complex and inflexible IT service setup with a multitude of disparate technologies and processes. They were putting veneer on veneer to keep up rather than making an inherent and lasting changes to involve our approach. They had a CA service desk, which was a core concern. Okay, the service desk tool was no longer fit for purpose. Even some of the basics functions were long and slow, which put an unfair expectation on the agents to effectively manage the situation and deliver a great level of service. So here we can see how ServiceNow powers seamless delivery of services for all the business functions for this customer. So a quote from the CTO: rather than simplify finding replacement systems, we knew we had the opportunity to drive service transformation across the business. Choosing ServiceNow was a conscious decision to move away from standard tools and adopt a single platform to power the seamless delivery of services for every business function. It also launched a phase 1 of its ServiceNow deployment using incident management, problem, change, and knowledge management to power the service desk and an employee portal for IT service requests. It also extended its ServiceNow solution to include the HR service delivery. So now ServiceNow helps deliver efficiency and productivity gains for the customer 21 with faster, smarter service delivery. It also has seen notable benefits since moving to the Now platform. In just 12 weeks, approximately 3,000 employees were already using the ServiceNow to handle cases, service requests, and incidents for client or the employee. Globally, more than 12,000 employees have now interacted with this platform, and productivity gains are significant with all the automation and the intelligent workflows, speeding processes to free agents and employees to focus on more value-added tasks. Whereas customer 22, they just spent time triaging incidents and requests by 35% when they switched to ServiceNow. Okay, in the next section, we're going to talk about the value metrics and the customer successes related to the automate and optimize IT service operations. So here's one of the customers here. So we're looking at the challenges, okay? There's 15 strategic acquisitions were made by this customer, okay? And since 1996, I think, and which left the company with multiple service desks and tools. I think some of us have been there before. Each operating division had its own approach to service delivery, diluting consistency and impeding visibility across the business. And ultimately, maintenance costs were high, at least $500,000 required to upgrade a single tool. And they've got 15 of them. So the solution was to consolidate its legacy systems and tools onto the ServiceNow IT service management, along with the service catalog, the mobile, incident, problem, change, knowledge, and configuration capabilities at launch. So as part of the company's wider enterprise vision, IT services will be joined by facilities and HR down the line. So how were these business outcomes, how were they achieved, right? So ServiceNow IT Service Management eliminated the legacy and the complexity by consolidating enterprise service offering. The Now platform reliability enables the customer IT team to spend less time troubleshooting and more time refining the business processes. The Now platform enhances efficiency while helping to reduce operational costs. So for the customer, one of the outcomes was that they saved $3 million in anticipated license and maintenance costs and hardware. They achieved 6% increase in user satisfaction within 1 year, with employees perceiving IT as responsive. And that freed up 8,000 IT staff hours to focus on business process improvement. That is a lot. And, it's a great achievement by that company. Now, on to the next one. So this particular customer, their challenge was a bit complex. It was difficult to manage IT environment because it was creating barriers to achieving objectives in the business transformation, the customer service, cost reduction and compliance. And their solution was to use ITSM, ITOM, IT Business Management, which my colleague Nathan spoke about last week, and the Now platform. So how did the business outcomes, how were these achieved? So as you know, ServiceNow provides the platform and services to meet this particular customer needs and led the change to simplify IT and better customer services. So instead of spending more time administrating the changes for these 71,000 users across 13 different ITSM tools and management databases, the customer decided on a single integrated tool set to automate the delivery and control of incident, problem, change, and configuration management. So with ServiceNow, the customer saves time and money and responds to their customer demands faster and improves employee morale. So the success came quickly, within about 10 months with this customer. They integrated ServiceNow, with the 15 data sources and delivered the solutions to all the 14,000 users at the beginning. And the average time to raise change and incident improved by 76%. And 60% retrospectively. By automating more than 50% of the controls associated with critical IT processes, the customer saved the equivalent of 46,000 employee hours, as well as realizing savings by decommissioning the 10 legacy systems. And most importantly, more than 75% of users say ServiceNow has improved their workday. So we can see that the business outcomes here, 75% reduction in administration time achieved. The decommissioning of the 13 legacy solutions consolidated all the processes to a single CMDB. Okay, now we're going to look at a ServiceNow case study. So ServiceNow were managing business services in an infrastructure-orientated IT environment. Okay, and this caused, P1 and P2 incident overload, which resulted in a huge strain on their resources, slow responses, impacting the business, and a lack of end-to-end service availability. There were too many emails, we're used to that, enormous event noise, and multiple escalations from different teams working on the same incident. We've all been there. Something had to change, and that was shifting infrastructure to services. So first, the ServiceNow Global Operations team adopted a standardization, defined and governed CMDB model for enhanced service health and visibility. This allowed them to transform the NOC into a SRT with ServiceNow event management and incident management, noise reduction, real-time views of business service health, and better collaboration between the teams to resolve service outages faster were just a few of the immediate benefits. By leveraging the ServiceNow, ITOM, and ITSM portfolios, the team aligned IT operations with the business. The two automate processes offer high performance, high availability business services, and they shorten the time to resolution, whereby leveraging their combined power, we've seen measurable benefits to include a 98% reduction in incident noise via the correlation and deduplication, 67% reduction in P1 and P2 incidents via event management, 25,000 hours saved per year via the automated alert management, and a 50% reduction in mean time to repair. That's fantastic. So the momentum continues to build at ServiceNow, right? Where they're creating an agile IT operations environment that responds quickly and accurately to the needs of their businesses, slashing service delivery times from days to minutes. That's accelerating their digitalization so that they can continue to deliver great experiences, not just for them, but for the customers out there like you, okay, and their employees. So now we're going to look at the overview of the Now IT service management case study. So as ServiceNow continued to grow by leaps and bounds, this created significant challenges for their IT service desk capabilities. You know, they already had a robust ITSM foundation, but you know, they were adding hundreds of employees every month. The service desk team couldn't simply add any more staff. You know, to scale, they needed to improve how they did things by leveraging new technologies that they built on their existing foundation. They're very good at that. They enhanced their employee experience and shifted to a frictionless IT service delivery model. Okay, so first, to address the most pressing IT service issue was scaling the service desk. They had to increase the agent productivity and responsiveness. Okay, so using the ServiceNow agent workspace, yeah, it does just that. It centralizes information pertinent to an incident, you know, the phone calls, the chats, the knowledge base articles, similar historical incidents, etc., in one screen, a workspace as they call it. Now, support staff can have a separate tab for each of their incidents, making multitasking easy. Okay, second, they wanted to make their tech lounges even better and give more time back to their employees by rolling out ServiceNow, the walk-up experience. So rather than hanging around the tech lounge at peak times waiting for the next available technician, employees can join a virtual queue using their PC or mobile device, then head over as they approach the head of the queue. Third, they needed to use their own artificial intelligence capabilities to scale with company growth. So the two ways they did this with ServiceNow Predictive Intelligence and ServiceNow Virtual Agent. Okay, so today, as soon as a user starts to describe their issue online, Predictive Intelligence quickly identifies similarities across open incidents or cases, then suggests a resolution to the end user. Predictive Intelligence also reduces manual work and saves time for agents by suggesting the relevant tasks and connecting the dots between incidents. Another way they utilize ServiceNow AI capabilities is with Virtual Agent. They look at their historical data to identify high volume incidents and requests. So now users can interact with the Virtual Agent 24/7 to resolve the most common repetitive issues, such as the famous password reset and the application access requests. Every time they do, they're freeing up their live agents to serve other users. So the benefits they've seen was a 99% reduction in incident resolution times with the agent workspace, 42 million annual savings in operations, 77% of incidents resolved on the first assignment with predictive intelligence, 215,700 hours saved for employees from self-service automation, 85% adoption of IT self-service, and 97% employee satisfaction of IT service delivery, and 98% employee satisfaction of ServiceNow tech lounges. So overall, it's a great work experience, okay, which leads to more productive workforce. So ServiceNow are continuing to raise the bar, right? They're at the forefront of delivering this experience by shifting to a frictionless IT service delivery model that provides a consumer-like experience. So Now, So IT reimages the employee experience using the shift left IT support strategy on the Now platform. So the ServiceNow IT Services organization provides a global IT support for their employees. So in the early years, they functioned as one team that wore multiple hats. Again, we've all been there. The technicians were on the phones resolving employee issues in the morning and then went to work in the tech lounge where they'd walk up the IT experience in the afternoon. It was a challenging way to stay on top of workloads and affected service delivery. As we grew, or as ServiceNow grew, they realized they had to become more efficient so they could scale with company growth. So as they grew, IT undertook a shift left strategy to move employees IT support from more time and resource intensive activities to a greater reliance on self-service. Now, whether that meant automating a request or publishing information so employees could solve it on their own. They established a 3-tier support that enables IT to provide a better user experience and increase productivity, making work better for our employees. Okay, the 3 tiers are defined as level 0. Okay, so that's the intelligent automation and data-driven insights via our employee portal and knowledge base provide users with the information that they need at the time that they search or request it. Then there's level 1, which is a dedicated team skilled at mainstream technology assists with routine and repetitive requests, including the phone and chat responsibilities 24/7 and a single point service level accountability. And then there's level 2 consultants, skilled at the majority of technologies and products and who understand the business context, handle time, the consuming the most complex of requests. So they bring a consumer-like experience to ServiceNow with a tech lounge walk-up experience. The great thing about ServiceNow is they continue to try and move as many issues to the left or towards, L0 by automating many of their responsibilities that traditionally fell on the support staff. So level 1 staff handles more routine tasks now, which free up level 2 staff to be consultants, not just traditional, break and fix it, IT support. You've got consultants who are now teachers and advocates for our user community. They coach employees on how to use the apps to be more productive. And as a result of this continuous shift left, the number of low priority issues is slowly dropping along with the demand for L1 support. Employee self-service of content improved by 3% from 46% in 2018 to 49% in 2019. In the future, as automation and self-service increases, they will continue to shift their experienced L2 staff to solving complex high-priority issues. So the Now platform gives IT the capacity to shift its support resources towards self-service, where the employees are empowered to find their own answers. Experienced team members can now focus on resolving complex issues that require more skill. The result is a greater productivity and a more richer and more satisfying experience for both employees and IT. So while I leave this next slide up, and you can look at the percentages, the things that are saved. I'll just drink a little bit of water. I'm actually going to take you on a journey, okay? But I'll just point out that just by looking at one of those metrics again, okay, the 3 million that was saved by consolidating the 13 or 15 legacy systems into one, which is there, 3 million. Okay. So we've discussed automation and optimization and the potential outcomes it can bring, and of course the benefits. And also at the beginning of this presentation, I told you about a story, but not how we got there. Okay. So this is where the Quintica team of experts come into play. Okay. So we're going to take you on a journey now, or a Q journey, as we say at Quintica. Okay. But before I go on to the next slide, I purposely changed the familiar ITSM service management model, and because a few weeks ago the Formula 1 racing team were in Abu Dhabi, so I thought it would be ideal to use this. I use this analogy quite often when I'm talking to clients. Okay, so the people, process, and technologies, obviously, that drives the organizational change. You need to balance these three components, and you want to maintain a good relationship between them to maximize efficiency. Okay, and you can see from there's three guys by each wheel. One's taking the wheel off, one's removing the wheel, one's putting the wheel on. They work together as a team. They're very efficient. So that's I would say the people side of the team, right? So that's the pit crew there. They're very well trained in what they do. Okay, can you imagine if they're not aligned, what would happen? And then you've got the driver, or as I like to say, the process. Okay, so if the driver's not mature enough, if you've got a child in that seat, you're not going to go very far with your processes, are you? And the technology being the car, of course, that is a Ferrari there. I like to say that ServiceNow is the Ferrari. And so there you got it. You got your people, the process, the technology. Okay. And for film titles, I'm thinking of Rush Hour here. And what's that? The other one, Fast and Furious. There we go. So people, process, and technology. You've got to have the right people doing the right thing at the right time. The processes, you need to have them to a point where people can follow them. They're not necessarily going to be mature straight off, but you can work towards getting them very mature. So like having the F1 driver in that driving seat who's been doing it for God knows how many years, and the technology. And technology has always been tweaked and improved on, just like what ServiceNow do all the time. They're very good at that. Okay. So to maximize the capabilities of the ServiceNow platform, so how does Quintica get you there? Okay. So we have this thing called the Q journey. Okay, it's approach of how to get from A to B, basically. Okay, and so for any engagement Quintica handles, the first thing we do is we do an assessment on the process, all processes that you currently have implemented at your organization. We look at the current processes and we map it to ITIL 3 or 4, ISO 20000, or COBIT if your processes are mature, and based on CMMI as well, see if there's any gaps. And if there are any gaps, we will discuss them with you and suggest an update. And if you agree with those updates and those suggestions, then we plug those gaps. Okay. So during the Q scan, we will identify those gaps, not only from a process perspective, but a tool perspective also. So what is the process being implemented in the tool? If there's any refinement or tweaking required in the tool, based on your approval, we will proceed into the next phase, which is the Q portfolio and Q framework. Right, this is where we install in the instance. We're laying the foundation before developing. Okay, and then most customers have a service catalog, and this is where we look at the refinement of the existing service catalog, so we can streamline the catalog for you and make sure everything's all good. Okay, the Q build and Q transform. This is where we build the platform based on the approved RTM or requirement traceability matrix that we get from you. It's basically a template that we have, and we develop your requirements, and then as part of our testing, we have a dedicated team of testers who will do system testing and integration, all by a dedicated testing team in order to identify any sort of discrepancies and anomalies and address those. Okay. And we've got a third level of testing, which is UAT, of course, and you, as the customer, and Quintica test and confirm all your requirements are met and working as it should. So once that is completed, we move to Q transform. So this is where we deliver the training, such as train the trainer or train the entire employees of the company, whether it's on Zoom, Teams, or on site. We talk about the process, knowledge transition on the platform that we've built, etc. And the next phase, obviously, is the go live. Okay, and the big trumpet announcement. And after the go live, there's just a number of days where we provide maintenance and support for customers. Okay. So that's our bit of a Q journey there. But how did we get to that point? So if you remember in my, I think it was my first or second slide where I mentioned that story where we had an outage. Okay. So we had that outage and we had some recommendations, and those recommendations went all the way up to the CEO of that company where we had that big outage. And because I actually got the backing of the CEO, it was a domino effect. Everyone else had to follow suit. Right? Because we did have, and I'm sure some of you guys out there have had this, where you've got a couple of senior management people that don't like what you're going to do, and it's very hard to get sign off from some of these managers. And I've met a few of those. And you need to get stakeholder involvement. You need to get the top person to sign off. It makes it so much easier. So we need when we talk about requirements, we need to ask these certain people here, the stakeholders, the senior management, obviously the process owner, this person who's accountable for designing, this effective and efficient process. They must be involved in the gap analysis. Okay. Obviously, of course, the senior management, the person, it could be the head of IT service management or delivery operations, that person who's got an understanding of what needs to be delivered and what the expected outcomes. And, could be the product owner, the ITSM platform as well. And of course, the executor, the person or persons that run the processes deliver the quality outcomes as required within the organization. So, if you're thinking about automating and optimizing your organization's people, process and technology, please reach out to quintica.com and submit your query, and we'll be happy to take you on your next journey, or Q journey as we like to say. So happy to take any questions on chat or LinkedIn if we don't have much time. Thank you for listening. Over to you, Rania.
Thank you, Robert. I would like to especially thank you for putting the last piece or the missing piece in the series of webinars with Quintica, because all of the previous webinars were mainly technically focused. I mean, they were technical demos featuring technical aspects of the system, but you really added the missing piece of the business perspective, business value and the value metrics that you showed. And that was very interesting and very important for completing the image. And also the way you organized your presentation as a series of problems and solutions, because we wanted to address the pain points of potential users of the system, especially those who are considering to migrate from other systems to ServiceNow. So the presentation was really valuable. So I want to allow time for the attendees to raise any questions you have, so that Robert can take your questions. Please send your questions to the comments area on YouTube.
I've just got funny enough, I got a comment that's just been sent to me on my phone.
Yeah.
About automation. Has there been any sort of horror stories of where things have gone wrong? And
yes,
I can't think of any that I've worked on that have. And in fact, I haven't heard of, unless anyone's got some horror story out there. I mean, the only one I can think of is Frankenstein. That was an automation that didn't go well. No, I haven't not worked on a project where the automation, the outcome was disastrous. We gave what the customer asked and more. I've not been involved in one. So if anyone out there has, please let me know. I'd like to hear about it.
This is a very interesting point, because as we list success stories, we also need to consider if there are any failure stories. We don't call it failure, but lessons learned, you can say, from other cases.
I mean, the funny one I can think of actually is my mummy, and I bought her an electric knife cutter. Okay, and she used to cut the bread. She used to love cutting the bread. She used to make bread, but she cut it, and after she cut the bread, for the 5th time for 5 slices, the bread always wasn't straight; it was an angle. So when I picked the bread up, it was cut at almost 90 degrees. And I said to myself, no, I think what I'll do, I will buy one of those new electric knives when they came out. So all my mother's got to do is just hold it, press the on button, and it's going to cut it straight. Right. This is where we say, don't blame the tool. We've always said that, haven't we? Don't blame the tool. It's not the tool. Sometimes you can blame the tool, but
Yes.
you can't. I used to watch my mum cut this bread with this electric knife, and it'd start off nice and straight, and eventually her arm would twist, her wrist would twist, and she would be going back to normal again. She'd be cutting it at an angle. So, that's just, it's not an IT sort of story, but you can see where I'm going with this. You try and automate something, and whether you've got the right tool or not, sometimes it doesn't work. I haven't actually experienced that in the IT side, but again, if anyone has, I'd love to know.
Okay, so now we got some questions on YouTube. Idrisa Diagne, maybe I'm saying it correctly. Hi, very good presentation, but just wanted to know the cost of transformation for an traditional IT society. Cost of transformation may be considering migration from another system. I don't understand what is a traditional IT society. Can you answer this, Robert?
Well, you would have to speak to the
Yes.
salesperson on that one.
Yes. Should direct this question to the salesperson at Quantica, right?
Yeah, I would suggest get in contact with us. I think I've got the website on the page.
Okay. Another question from Ayush Srivastava. Virtual agent, predictive intelligence, and agent workspace come under same licensing?
Yeah, so that's under professional ITSM Pro. So the basic, the baby platform or the mothership platform is ITSM from ServiceNow. Okay, and then you go up a step further, and then you've got ITSM Pro, and that's where you got the virtual agent, the predictive intelligence comes into play. Again, if you want to know the costs on that, please contact our sales guys at Quantica.
Possibly there are several packages, and depends on your selection of packages, you will get the license. Maybe.
Yeah, when you purchase Pro, you'll get all those applications.
Okay.
Applications that's just part of it.
Okay, so we can direct you to contact us, and we will direct you to the salesperson at Quantica. Please contact us. Go to our website, we'll find the contact us page, or go to Quantica, to ServiceNow website, and you find also some contact form to send your questions about purchasing, about licensing, to direct to the sales people directly. So any other questions, please?